Let's talk about it. How to recover from a failed twin flame connection. Right here on Optimal Expression. Hello, I'm Jeremy Jones, and welcome to Optimal Expression, where we embrace our greatest potential to manifest our wildest dreams. Good people, I know what it's like to be with a twin flame. If you've had a twin flame connection, um, and it didn't work out, man, that is like the worst heartbreak you're gonna ever feel. You could have broken up with people before, you could have had your heart broken before, but when it don't work with a twin flame, oh my God. I mean, it's just like somebody threw your heart out the window, shot it with an M16 machine gun, and ran the rest of the remnants over with a monster truck. And I'm being actually pretty merciful with that. Okay, but man, let's talk about it. Okay, so I want to break it down into things you shouldn't do and things that you should do. Okay, 5 steps right here. Let's talk about it. Number one is don't chase. Number two, don't run into a quick rebound. Okay, number three, don't be idle. Number four, do not numb yourself. And number five, don't devalue yourself, okay? And I want to break these down one by one. Oh, and an extra bonus too. Don't wish nothing bad on them. Don't wish anything bad on them, okay? And I'm throwing that one in as a bonus because a lot of times, if it doesn't work out and you feel bad, you feel hurt, then you just want to wish the worst thing, and I hope they get hit by a Mack truck. I hope, because it's hard. It's like, well, if I can't have you, then you can't exist. Like, there's no reason why me and you can be on the same planet, breathing the same air and not be together. Well, then fine. I hope you fall out and die. I mean, it sounds pretty extreme, but those who've been through it know what I'm talking about. And you can probably wish some really harsh things on a person that you feel like has done you wrong or left you hanging, right? Nothing worse than being ghosted by your twin flame. 3 of swords to the 3rd degree. Real talk. All right, so now that we got that out the way, don't wish anything bad on them, okay? Because, once again, when you have thoughts and feelings that are bad, that's just generating karma for you. And life is all about balance. And when you're wishing that bad stuff, you're putting yourself in bad energy and you're setting yourself up to experience bad. It's like pointing a gun at yourself, right? You want to point it at them, but you're pointing it at yourself. You think you're hurting them, but in the long run, you're only hurting yourself, okay? Anytime anytime you have ill will towards anyone else, it can't go good for you. You are definitely going to face a wrath sooner or later. You got to be accountable for your thoughts and your feelings and your actions, okay? So even if you're hurt and you're down, don't wish bad on them, okay? Now that was the bonus. Let's start with number one. Don't chase, okay? And I know that could be really hard, right? Because when it's over, the inclination is just to be like, please, baby, baby, please, baby, please, baby, baby, baby. Please, okay, you will get down on bending knee, you will crawl. Please don't do this to me. That was a song called Don't Do Me This Way. Oh my God. The person who wrote that probably knows what it's like to have a terrible moment with their twin flame. Yeah. Don't chase though. And I'm going to tell you why, okay? Now don't get me wrong. Don't just give up at the first whim. Okay, give a concerted effort. And by that, I mean, tell them how you feel. Okay, you don't want to leave anything on the table because the worst thing that can happen is that you think later that, man, I should have just told him that I love him. Why didn't I just say, I love you? I'm not ready for this to be over. Let's try to work it out. That's a concerted effort. Okay, this is not the time to let your ego get in the way. Okay. Say how you feel, put your cards out there on the table so that there's no question that this is not what you want if it's not what you want, okay? Don't try to play macho. Well, go on then. I ain't trying to keep nobody that don't want to be kept. Sometimes a person may, say that they're ready to break up or they don't want to do this anymore because they're trying to get your attention. And they want to know if you care. Sometimes that's what they do. And this could be that situation. So don't lose your twin flame over ego, okay? If your twin comes to you and say they're ready for it to be over, let them know how you feel, okay? But after you let them know how you feel, after you say you love them and you're not ready for it to be over, and let's do what we can to work it out, and they insist that it's over, let them go. Let them go and wish them well, okay? As hard as that may be, that's the best way to do it. Let them go. Don't chase. Don't blow them up. Don't call them back. Don't text them, okay? Because in the separation period, okay, in order for reunion to happen, both parties must understand the significance of the relationship. And if you have a person that is running, that person usually doesn't understand the significance of the relationship. Most times, especially early in the connection, you don't know that that's your twin flame anyway, right? It might take a couple of breakups for you to realize it, because most people after one breakup, you're done, right? But after you keep coming back and forth with each other, and it's like, I can't let this go. This is unusual, right? So if a person is running, they may not necessarily understand the significance of the relationship. So when that happens, you got to let them go, okay? And sometimes it takes that absence. They say, to make the heart grow fonder, right? Sometimes a person needs to miss you. And I'm not talking about playing the game. It's just really giving a person space, okay? Because the truth of the matter is, when you're in separation, what's really supposed to happen is you need to work on you. They need to work on them. There's lessons that you need to learn in separation that you couldn't get together, right? There's purposes that you need to fulfill and paths that you need to begin that for whatever reason you may not have done while together, right? And when you got yourself together, you're ready. And when they get themselves together, they're ready. And then there's a chance for reunion, okay? But if you're interrupting that, and you're not allowing them to move on, and I get it, I know it's hard. Believe me, I've been through it, right? You're not allowing them to move on, then you are disrupting that process and you're actually prolonging the inevitable. Let them go gracefully. Wish them the best. Give them your love. Don't blow them up on social media. Don't stalk their pages, okay? If you need to block them, do what you need to do, okay? But do not chase, all right? So that takes us to the next one. Don't run in for a quick rebound, okay? And by that, I mean, there's a saying out there that says, you know what? To get over the last relationship, just run out and get you a new one, right? And a lot of people do that. And I know I was guilty for that. Man, look, back in the day, okay, when I cut somebody off, I had another one lined up, ready to go, okay? Because if I got somebody else to deal with, then I don't think about this other person. But a twin flame relationship is different, okay? And because you've experienced the depth of that kind of bond, nothing else is going to compare. So you can run out and get whoever the hell you want. The first thing you're going to recognize is this here ain't nothing like what I'm used to. They all right and everything. And, and y'all could be in complete separation. And this person, they're probably a great person, but don't drag anybody into your mess, okay? Because your heart is somewhere else. So don't run and grab somebody else right after you break up with your twin, because the truth of the matter is, if your twin called you next week, you up, and the other person is like, thanks for coming out, God bless you, good night. And then what about them? You have to consider the other people that you're pulling into this, and they don't deserve that because they don't know your situation. They don't know that you're trying to get over a twin, and then you're using somebody, right? Believe me, this is one of those things in the long run, it can come back to bite you, and definitely it can hurt somebody else. So don't run out and get a quick rebound. Because see, the thing is, you're not allowing yourself to do the work that needs to be done so that you can prepare yourself for reunion. Okay? Don't do that. It's a mistake. You're gonna hurt yourself and you can hurt somebody else too in the long run. Bad move. Don't get a quick rebound. All right. The next one is don't be idle. Okay? Because if you don't have anything to do, all you're gonna do is think about what's missing. You're gonna go to bed missing them. You're gonna wake up missing them. And that ain't going nowhere. It's not. Okay? And you can stay sulking and pouting in that energy. And, then when you're idle and you don't have anything to do, then you're more likely to stalk their page and see what they're doing. And you don't want to do that because you don't know what they're doing, and you might see something that really tears you up. Because it might be hard for you. Now, depending on where they at in their journey, it might not be hard for them right away. Okay? So you might see something that you don't want to see. Okay? It's going to keep your mind on them because you're not putting your mind or focus on anything else. And I know from experience, okay, when it don't work out with a twin flame, it's hard to think about anything else. So, in the next steps, when I talk about what to do, the replacement for being idle is do something with purpose. And we'll talk about that in a little bit, okay? But the last thing you want to do is be idle. Ooh, terrible, terrible thing, okay? Okay, don't numb yourself, okay? Now, the thing is, the pain, the emotional pain, the spiritual pain, the vacuum that's there, the empty space that's like, I don't know, 25 parking lots, right? That's hard to deal with, especially if the breakup happens suddenly. And a lot of us may be inclined to start drinking, heavily drinking. You might want to turn to drugs. You might try to sex the problem away, right? You might go out and start being promiscuous because you just want to feel wanted. You want someone to want you, and so you might look to sex as a way to try to fulfill yourself, to prove to you that somebody wants you in some way, but it's empty. It's empty, and it doesn't compare to what you had, and you're playing yourself. Okay, you're going down a really dark path when you try to numb yourself. All right, so don't let yourself drift into drinking too much and drugs and sex and even something like video games. Right, you can play the game, and I know this from personal experience. You can play the game from dawn to dawn. Okay, yeah, just because you don't want to think about nothing else. In the game, you have an escape into another world. I'm not thinking about the real world because in the real world, it hurts right now, right? But that's not a healthy way to deal with it. So don't try to numb yourself, all right? And the last one of what not to do, don't devalue yourself. And by that, I mean, whether it's a twin flame or not, when someone breaks up with you, it's a hard pill to swallow. And you want to ask yourself, well, what's wrong with me? What did why me? You know, do you think you can have someone better? Is someone else better for you? Is there another situation better for you? Then it naturally makes you feel like you're not good enough. And when you begin to devalue yourself, then you put yourself in a situation where you allow yourself to be treated any kind of way to hold on to somebody. You put yourself in a situation where you play yourself and you deal with a lot of stuff that you shouldn't deal with, or potentially put yourself in a situation where you'll be with anybody who will give you the time of day. You know, you lose self-confidence, and it's hard for you to believe in yourself in other sectors of life because you might begin to think that something's wrong with you. You're not good enough. If this person that you thought the world of didn't think the same of you. Okay? But nothing could be less, nothing could be further from the truth. Okay? Don't devalue yourself. And when you're going down the list, and I believe me, and I've done all the stuff that you said don't do, this list, this is how I can tell you what not to do, because I did all of it. Oh, yeah. I mean, I hit rock bottom before I figured it out. So I'm hopefully I can save you from that, okay? Let's not crash and burn like I did, okay? So don't chase, don't run into a rebound, don't be idle, don't numb yourself, and don't devalue yourself. Now let's talk about what you should do, okay? The things that you should do. Accept it. That's number one. Accept it. Yeah. And that's the hardest thing to do, because you do all of this other stuff. You chase, you run into a rebound, you want to do nothing with your life, you want to drink and drug, sex yourself, out of your mind, you devalue yourself. All of these things come because you don't want to accept it. But that's step number one. You have to accept that it's over. Now, the cool thing is, if it's a twin flame situation, there might be a chance for a reunion, right? But whether there's a chance for that reunion or not, you have to accept that it is what it is. And at this time, that person wanted to do something else with their life. And as much as it hurts, that's the truth. Accept it. Okay? And part of accepting it is allowing yourself to feel the pain. Don't try to cover the pain up. Don't try to do something to get your mind off of it. Allow it to hurt. Because what you resist persists. I know it sounds like a cool little saying or whatever the case may be, but it's real. Allow yourself to feel the pain. That's the only way to get through it. So accept it, cry, get it all out, cry, snot. I did that. I ain't got no shame. Yeah. Do it. Okay? Accept it. Look yourself in the mirror and accept it. Feel everything you need to feel. Okay? All the regret, all of the pain, the sorrow, and everything else that comes with it. Accept it. And that's a process. It takes time. Allow yourself to be sad. All right? Now, there's a thing. You don't want to get stuck in that sad. Okay? But like anything else, because when you have a bond or connection, that's a living thing, right? And so anyone, like when a person that means something to you, when that person dies, you mourn that person. Same thing with a connection, right? When you had a live wire connection and it was a very significant bond, it meant something to you, that person meant the world to you, and now you don't have that connection anymore, it hurts like hell. It's dead. You need to accept it and mourn it. Allow yourself to be sad, okay? Now, we're going to move on, and we're not going to stay in that mourning period, but give yourself time to mourn, okay? All right. Then what you want to do after that is self-reflect, okay? Because whether you were the runner or the chaser, if you're in the situation where you're separate from your twin, there was something that you did on your part that brought things to these situations, right? Now, to use myself as an example, there were a lot of things I did wrong. A laundry list of stuff, okay? I mean, so, and I had to come to terms with that, okay? Yeah, she left. It was over. It hurt. But you know what I'm saying? Regardless of why she left, and maybe the way she did things were wrong too, she wasn't wrong by herself. I was wrong too. And so part of this process is self-reflecting. Do the shadow work, okay? Dig deep and look at those ugly parts of you, Okay? Look that ego face to face. The ego exists, right? Now, if you believe, I ain't got no ego, see, the ego's already winning because the ego wants to stay incognito. It don't want that attention. It's like, yeah, you ain't got no ego, right? But your ego could be the very reason why it didn't work out. And you need to do that shadow work so you can shine the light on those ugly parts of yourself that threw the connection out of balance, that put you in a position where you're in separation, okay? So if you're taking love for granted, if you got an ego that's out of control, if you're over controlling, right? Maybe you weren't assertive enough. Maybe you were, expected as the man to step up, right? Maybe you needed to be stronger. There's so many things, but it's you, right? And the cool thing about a twin flame bond is that you have two beings that mean so much to one another that they made an agreement before this incarnation to say, we're going to teach each other the greatest lessons, right? And a lot of those lessons come in wonderful, happy times. And then there's another set of lessons that come in very hard, miserable times, right? But you chose each other for that. So allow yourself to do the shadow work so you can get the lessons that you were supposed to get from that connection so that you can grow. Find out what you did wrong. Put the mirror to yourself because you weren't perfect, right? What did you do wrong? What could you have done better? How could you be a better person for that person? You can't expect to say the same and think that that person's going to come back to you or you're going to reunite and you're not any different than you were from the breakup. Mm-mm. Do the shadow work. Put the light on those dark spots of yourself. Come to terms with those dark places, right? It's transformative, but it's very key in regaining your balance when you're in separation from your twin, okay? And so that brings me to step 3, which is do something purposeful. Now, when I was given the list of what not to do, I said, don't be idle. Well, the inverse of that is you don't want to be idle, you want to be on purpose. Now, in most cases, your twin flame is going to usher you to your purpose. You are going to, in some way or another, be clear or have more clarity of what your purpose is as a result of that connection. Somehow, that's the way it always seems to turn out. Twin flames guide each other to their purposes, right? And sometimes you need them to get you to the front door, and now you got to walk through that door. And you might need to walk through it alone, okay? So you need to do something that means something to you, okay? A project, start a business, do some charity work, do something that is not necessarily all about you, okay? But you want to do something that has purpose and help somebody else. And when you do that, the energy that you generate of having compassion and consideration for someone else, even though you're going through some of the most troubling time, you're creating some wonderful karma for yourself. And there's more lessons to gain even from that. So put yourself on task, get yourself in gear and be in your purpose. Okay. And if you don't know what that is, find a purpose, make a list. Okay. Check out my video. Actually, I got a video on finding your purpose. Okay. Maybe that can help you, but be on your purpose. Do some purposeful things. You want to get your energy going in a positive direction. And when you're doing something for someone else or doing something for a greater cause, there's nothing better you can do to get your energy generating in a wonderful way. Okay? All right. And now we are engaging in self-care. Engage in self-care is step number 4 of what you want to do. Okay? Now here's the thing. It didn't work out with your twin. Okay? And if you've been in separation for a while, the beginning hurts, but then after it's been a long time, a lot of times it doesn't get any better. In fact, it can feel worse because you're expecting to get back to that with that person, especially if that's your twin. But after some time, if it looks like your twin isn't coming around, I don't, know where they may be on their journey. Maybe they're not in the place where they want to reunite for one reason or another. That's very hard to deal with. And after you've done your shadow work and you've begin to shine light on those dark aspects of yourself, bringing awareness to the parts of yourself that need work and you're working on yourself, continue to do that, because what you want to do is generate positive energy. And being on your purpose is part of doing that as well. And then another way to do that is self care. Okay. So exercise, meditate, eat better. Okay. Take salt baths, sage yourself, sage your environment. These are the things you want to do to help balance out your energy, clear negative energies. Okay. Do the self care, and most importantly, it makes yourself a better person. And you're making yourself a better person, it's only going to benefit you. And then the cool thing about that is we like attracts like, okay? And in becoming a better person and generating these positive energies by doing the shadow work and being on purpose and not wishing bad things on your ex, right? But wishing them the best, right? Putting forth all this positive energy, you only got positivity coming back. Okay, now either way it goes, the universe is going to pay you back. But if you are making positive deposits, you're going to reap tenfold positive results. So you're doing things to make yourself a better person. And the self care is a very big part of that. Okay, cool. And now we're going to go to the last one, and that's recognizing your worth. Recognize your self worth. Recognize that even though it didn't work out, you're still awesome. You're still beautiful. You are still wonderful. Now, if they don't see that, that's their problem. Okay? Because the truth of the matter is, there are several people who will see it in you if they don't. And who knows what they're going through as to why they don't see the best in you anymore, or why they don't see you as the best for them anymore. Right? Now, one of my sayings is the universe is our friend. And you have to believe that if the universe allowed this person to leave your experience, even though you can't see it right now, it's for your benefit. Because everything that's happening is for your benefit. Even this, right? So as we do the shadow work, put ourselves on our purpose, do the self-care, right? And become a better person, you increase your value. And because you're doing the work, you've grown. You've gotten the lessons. And you are not the same person that you were when that separation happened. When you had that tower moment, you're different, right? We can drop the death card on that. Whoever that person was is dead. You've been reborn. And that's the whole purpose of a twin flame connection anyway, right? Is to enlighten one another through love and through pain. Yeah, it is a beautiful, wonderful, miserable, loving, I don't know, divine mess. And anybody who has experienced separation with their twin flame, though, know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so all of you out there who are in separation from your twin flame, understand this. Okay, I know that there's no deeper or greater bond that you will experience. However, you still have breath in your body. There is still life to live. And you can live your life, and you can still have a happy life, and you can still have a wonderful, loving, fulfilling relationship. Do the self-care, do the shadow work, do what you need to do to make yourself a better person for you and attract the best possible connection for you. And if that means that your twin flame comes back and you're in union, awesome. And if for whatever reason that doesn't happen, you can still have a beautiful life. And I hope you know that. I hope the message resonated with you. Until next time, oh, please remember to like and subscribe. And I'm going to see you here next time on Optimal Expression. Peace and love.